Get her done. Get her done. Alrighty. Looks like we are good to go. Welcome back to MTVTA, guys. I'm your guys' host, Trent Manager. All my attorney patrons, welcome. All my new patrons, of course, welcome back. Really glad to have you guys here. Thank you guys for chiming in today's live stream. Hope you guys have had a great week so far. It is, make sure we have the days right. It is Tuesday, August 10th, and we got a lot to cover. We did fall short of our infrastructure bill, but first off, let's go over some housekeeping. First off, let's not forget about what we have to cover today. So we're going to be mainly going to be going over our infrastructure bill, kind of the things that was passed, what this means moving forward, lots of questions that are kind of unanswered right now, and the market really doesn't seem to care very much, which is, of course, a great sign. So we're showing very strong fundamentals and so on, despite our U.S.A. leaders making the decision that they made. We will be covering that later in this live stream. So first off, we're going to be going our infrastructure bill coming for the age of the moment of crypto. Crypto industry finds bright side in the infrastructure amendment, even though we did fail. I wouldn't even call it really failure. They just pulled a fast one. They just pulled a fast one. There are some five most in-demand jobs in the cryptocurrency space right now. We're going to be covering those, just like we do cover on here on this channel, career switches, passive income streams, different ways that you can be, involved in the space to really get the full magnitude of what's going on. But it's going to be relatively short today. Guys, I think we got some Twitter news to cover as well, some documents as well. For all those who aren't inside the United States, because I know some of you guys do chime in, not in the United States, I know it may seem pretty boring today, and we have been covering a lot of government, official, and news, but definitely get around to that and why it's important. The U.S.A. does play a pretty big role in terms of how the cryptocurrency space flourishes and continues to thrive globally, and this is not just a U.S. issue, of course. This is a whole kind of global unity type deal. So it's an important role that we have here on U.S. soil, and just for innovation purposes and kind of just the role we play in economic and GDP and all that. We don't need to get too much into that, but awesome. I mean, just our first one, infrastructure. Let's kind of go over, kind of what. I know we had our emergency video last week. I think that was on Friday. We had to talk about that. What was to come. I know that was before. They were still rustling feathers and getting things together, and we actually did end up not. The bill ended up passing, so we did technically end up not getting the outcome that we wanted. So, but also remember, you guys remember from middle school and high school that we still need to go to the House of Representatives. There's still options for change and how we can still govern this in our favor. Effects wouldn't even be going in until about 2023 to 2024 anyway, so we would still have some time in terms of getting things adjusted and maturity for the space to continue to flourish and continue. So I mean, this is the article that I pulled up. I like to read. We're going to kind of get into the meat in the section here. We don't really need to read all of this, but continuously, I'm really going to piggyback off what we did on Friday and kind of what we talked about is. We knew that disagreements were here. We also knew about the regulation coming. This has been nothing new to us. Just like we kind of said on Friday, it's just sad that we see such important decisions being made by individuals who are ignorant as to what they are voting on and the future of innovation and digital assets and continued technology moving forward, and how this technology not only benefits the basic individual, but of course supply chain, enterprise, and so on. So I mean, realistically, what I took from this article, especially throughout the whole statistic side, especially is just I'm trying to find the COVID section here, or hopefully I don't get taken off for that. I know we're kind of not allowed to say that, but I'm trying to find the section here where they had been talking about if had blockchain had flourished during the pre-pandemic or pandemic phases that we had seen, we would have not seen such as supply chain hiccups and issues with I know we had the PPP loan issues of fundings for small businesses and individuals who didn't get prerequisites for payments, and there were just so many things that were in a frenzy that didn't go according to plan in terms of lack of traceability. So there are many things that we can do to fix this, through blockchain technology and other development protocols that, we keep our public ledger transaction public like we have been. You're able to see in and outs of, who's going to where, and a lot of transparency that really goes into this. And I mean, I'm not really trying to ramble because we did cover a lot of this on Friday, but realistically, we had people who they did what they needed to do. We had like Cynthia from the governor from Wyoming, who did their first decentralized autonomous organization law in terms of having that legal for actual enterprise and organizations. So those are classified as real enterprises and businesses. We had other individuals like Ted Cruz. I know there's a lot of split politicians and different things that kind of, and this is not a politics channel, but I know there's just a lot of, there's a lot of hate for Ted Cruz and a lot of other different things that governors have not done well in the past and said and did. I don't know if you guys didn't know, like Ted Cruz left during like some of the biggest spike ups in Texas in terms of like their COVID cases, and he went to like Cancun with his family, like completely just abandoned his state. And of course, people didn't react appropriately to that. Actually, no, he did not react. Nobody in reacted appropriately to any situation. But what I've noticed is that definitely with this going on, it has brought kind of unity in terms of people coming together and really coming together for a common world good. I know in a sense, I know we've always been split into parties as to, blue's bad, red's bad, and it's very rare that you see individuals come together collectively, kind of as the smaller bottom, and kind of really not stick it to the big dude, but explain and give reasons and hard evidence as to why this is a very, very bad outcome and choice for them. So we're gonna move on here. I just wanted to cover that as a whole and really kind of just see, kind of just explain to you guys really what was going on. But mostly we're gonna be repeating a little bit for Friday, but there has been some slight things that's changed in terms of us moving forward. Even the crypto industry, shines. There is some bright side to this. This is not completely all bad. Just like I said, we have to go through the House still, and there are still times for edits to be made within this bill. So even the Blockchain Association, on Twitter, we're gonna be going into our Twitter dives here just shortly. Have came out and they've been keeping updates in terms of what's going on. Really keeping people in the loop as to how they can help and what this means moving forward. International Revenue Service for the IRS. You guys already know that's what this is really about. It really does involve heavy taxes. Governments want their cut, and I'm not really disappointed in it. I'm upset that people are making these decisions so blindly, but there's still time for change, and we could still get what we want out of this. Just some quotes just from over Twitter and other individuals who've kind of been keeping people really in the space. A lot of big crypto, I wouldn't say influencers, crypto's innovators. CEO FTX Sam Bankman. We had Elon coming out here, Jack Dorsey, a lot of top tier individuals who've come out and said, hey, this is not something we need for innovation. We know in the U.S. that there are things that we've innovated in terms of first computer. There are other accomplishments that we've had in this country for being first, especially with getting things innovated for new technology and things in technology that's going to make our lives better and things that we need to, of course, move forward as a civilization and not regress. We need to keep moving forward and make things easier for us, more accessible, and if we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. That's kind of just really the best thing I can put it in. We got our quotes here from Twitter. You see the months ahead of tremendous amounts of money coming to the space. What the crypto industry is woken up to is that they need to invest in Washington. Hopefully the next time we find ourselves in the last minute scramble, what the industry was able to do, it was up against ropes, was an impressive but tactical perspective. The goal to avoid getting pinned against the ropes all together. I'm stumbling over my words today. I don't know why I can't read today. We will continue to look for ways to fix digital asset language in this bill. It might not be today, but we will not give up. When it comes to later flesh it out, I'm optimistic. Just like we said before we start, guys, there's still time to adjust and get things out of the way as to getting things clearer. Because just like I'm referring back to Friday because we kind of did a more in-depth. It was more fresh in terms things are a little bit changed now that the bill has failed. But Friday, if you go back and watch Friday's video, we really kind of get more in depth as to what it meant for what they were proposing, and we're going to cover that slightly in this video as well. So also moving on to the 5 most in-demand crypto jobs right now according to Monster. This is just a quick update. I thought it was pretty interesting. We do cover we cover everything on this channel, from news to job postings, passive income streams, career switches. Everything all in between as to if there's anything you want to learn, anything new you would like to try, a career switch and whole. That's something that we talk about on this channel, and just getting kind of ideas flowing for different thought processes for something that anyone could do in my audience, and of course so on. Just kind of getting those ideas turning, and it's like we say, it's not every day you get a new asset class that you can participate in and kind of front run pretty much everybody. Everyone in terms of big money and a lot of those bigger upper guys. guys. So the first one, we're gonna have our Chief Artificial Intelligence Engineer. Pretty cool. I've worked with some AI before through Python learning. I just saw just the other day. I saw a Python script that was web scraping, and it was putting together it would put together a script or a speech that would be, I guess, however long you would tell it to be, so a minute, 2 minutes, and it would scrape some of the most notorious and best speeches in history, and it would construct it in an order that would be non-plagiarized and pretty much make its own speech, which is pretty impressive. So AI machine learning isn't going anywhere. I work with a couple AI machine learning guys, and they're very intelligent, and that's really where we're moving forward. So that industry is not going away anytime soon. It is only going to get more in depth and more complex, and if that's something you want to do, it's not as confusing as it sounds. Python is just the most common language in terms of learning AI machine learning, and as a Python dude who started off as Python, it's a very good skill to learn. So definitely something solid. And then they got jobs, machine learning engineer at Coinbase, at Gemini also, and of course some other individual sites as well. Accounting executive, for those who are good with numbers. I think these numbers are a little skewed because I think we had a short section in one of our videos for covering positions and like salary. I think they do the low end, I'm pretty sure, because I just don't want to blow things out of proportion. But account executive, still very real. Handling more of the legal side and number side, making sure that you're good with reading and communication and informative of what you're doing, whether that be reading, writing, accounting, anything along those lines, anything where you're very organized and you can keep things pretty much orderly and feed them back in a relatively good manner is very well. I know a couple of account executives. Of course, I'm not a personal account executive. Senior software engineer, of course, another great one. Just in the terms of senior, senior just means you've been doing it a couple of years. So, of course, you'd start off as a junior and you continue to learn whatever you would be doing, whatever language you find interesting. I think I might do a video on that, just kind of like what to know when you start off, or because people just just to get off topic for a minute, like people will come in. Be like, hey, like, what should I learn? I'll be like, do what me personally, I still do whatever you think is fun to you. Don't do it because of the money, because that job title pays well. You don't want to go learn a language in a project that you have no interest in, and then it's terrible when you go to work. Like, I've been there, it sucks. Like, it really is not fun to go and work at a position that you don't want to do. And I mean, because the money doesn't outweigh it. You like end up going to work and you just end up hating your job, and it just sucks. So. And then also going to product manager, that's another great one as well. Being able to manage products exactly how it sounds, communicate effectively, offer unique positions and products and to variants of different company roles, which is pretty nice. The product managers do pretty well. I know every big enterprise has massive product managers, so if that's something you want to do, this is like what I always think about also, is that there's a literally space for everybody in terms of what you want to do in this space. There's no like shorting of cut off, say, oh, I don't know how to code, so I can't be in the crypto space. That's just not true. Like we have marketing executives on our team. We have people. I got a dude who just research based. Like he all he does is read all day, and he sends me updated tools on development softwares and frameworks for me to understand, because this stuff evolves so fast. We don't have the time. Like personally, I don't have the time to sit down sometimes and read 5 to 6 hours on what our protocol updates are. Like I need to get an updated short list from our research manager to tell me, hey, these are some of the most key important upgrades. All the other upgrades really don't apply to you right now. Okay, that's awesome, and that makes my job 3 times easier. So there's always a place for somebody to do in this space. And if you are talented at something, do not cut yourself short. Like just go out there and do it. Like nobody's gonna that's the one thing also. I won't get too off topic because I won't get too into that right now. I'm not gonna do this like life coaching, but anyway. 5 most in-demand jobs right now in crypto. Pretty nice. I wouldn't say those are the top 5 in my opinion, but those I would agree with that list mostly. Absolutely. We're gonna watch little videos here as well, guys. We got some good short clips actually going on today, which is pretty nice. So we're gonna get a quick watch. This is a little bit old. This is from the 9th, so yesterday. So nothing too old. But it's the response for crypto regulation. Got some good speakers on here. We also got some Twitter and another video as well, and then we will continue.
Carve-outs to new IRS reporting requirements, and there's intense debate over whether the current language in the bill applies to miners and software developers, and that's stoking outrage among some of fintech's biggest CEOs. Coinbase's Brian Armstrong tweeted, quote, "History will not be kind to any politician who tries to block Americans' access to new technologies. Americans have a very low tolerance for taking away our rights and harming economic growth." Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey wrote, "This bill has so many issues," and he said one of the amendments from Senator Mark Warner only makes it worse. Meanwhile, Elon Musk got involved too. He said, "This is not the time to pick technology winners or losers in cryptocurrency technology. There is no crisis that compels hasty legislation. GOP Senator Rob Portman, who helped write this bill, said he gets it.
In particular, we want to be sure miners and stakers and others now or in the future who play a key role by validating transactions, or sellers of hardware or software for digital wallets, or node operators, or others who are not brokers, are clearly exempted.
Now, the final vote on the infrastructure bill is scheduled for early tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
But
so
Republicans and Democrats are negotiating right now to speed up that process in exchange for the chance to make it.
yeah, so we'll cut it short. I mean, we already knew the outcome, so we don't need to we don't need to watch the rest of this because we already know what happened. But you know, from the Portman view, it's just like I said, like even on Friday, like I didn't just sound like a broken record. It's straightforward. We got some guys at the top who just slipped something in last minute, trying to pull a fast one. They're already overwhelmed from what we just experienced the past year and a half, 2 years, with everything going on. We're still in it, you know. You guys know what we're talking about. Pandemic deal, you know, caused a lot of issues. We're backed up. People are stressed. You know, this is another hill they got to get over in terms of, do we deal with this now or later? Of course, we would have liked them to deal with it later when they're all more sane and kind of agile in terms of, you know, what they're voting on. But I mean, realistically, guys, I truly believe as we move forward, we're going to get some sort of changes. There's just no way, as we continue to develop with DeFi and other regulations, our technology gets better, our regulation gets better, everything just gets better in the space. Like even from the first month that we started this, guys, like we were in like prime market cycle phases. Like think about the difference that we had from just 8 months ago to now. Like it really is astonishing. And you know, like Brian Armstrong said, people are not going to be very kind in individuals who deny this type of technology. I mean, if we're being really real, guys, and right down to the T, like it's almost like blocking part of the internet. That's like saying, seriously, like you cannot use like the other 50% of the internet. So you're restricted to Google, YouTube, and like Facebook, and that's like all you can do. You know, like that's really what it comes down to. And I mean, I know a lot of people have not experienced the DeFi space as a whole and actually seen that back end of like Web 3.0 and like really what that has to offer. But like, it's really incredible. It's truly incredible. So I do really advocate hard that individuals go out and explore what the other side of the web has to offer, because it really is incredible what things like that are going to be here very, very shortly. And we're gonna cover this of Cynthia Loomis, her little speech right here. You know, and what I like about her is that she's learning. Like there are individuals that are older, and it's not against all old people. It's not like, oh man, every old person just doesn't get it, because there are senators who actually do understand and are actually, you know, once you get to a certain age, you know, you feel like you can't be taught anything, and that's with some older people. And you know, when I get older, I'm hoping to God I'm never like that. I hope that I'm never so close-minded that I just can't think that change can happen, because I mean, we lived through this. Like I hope our generation is that type of generation that we can, you know, millennials and Gen Zs, I know everyone's kind of scattered out, but you know, I was born in 1999, so technically not a millennial, late millennial. Actually, no, not at all. Actually, that's Gen Z. Get those dates mixed up, but especially older individuals like Cynthia, like, you know, like there's no it hurt. Like some of these guys have had a very big switch of heart, and you guys know that. So you know, some of these guys came out at first and said, no, this is trash. Like there's no way that this is gonna work. And then of course they got educated, and there's showing a change of your opinion and how you think and thought process things. That shows a sign of maturity. Like that shows that you're able to critically think and be able to change your view on, you know, what you thought maybe was wrong is right. You know, and sometimes right is wrong. You know, you can learn and continue to do that. So.
At its core, a country of innovators. It's written Wyden Lemus Toomey amendment that is ready for the Senate to vote on tonight. America is at its core a country of innovators. It's written into our DNA. It's why we were the first country to develop a computer, land on the moon, and develop the internet. Right now, our financial system is evolving before our eyes, much in the same way that the internet first began to find a foothold in the mid-1990s. Distributed ledgers, digital assets, and other forms of financial technology are in the early stages of transforming the way we share and store value. These technologies have the potential, if implemented properly, to create a vast new economic opportunity, reduce systemic risk in our economy, and provide for faster payments, and create a more inclusive financial system. These are principles that all Americans can agree on.
Cut that short. Also, guys, I'm gonna put these in the description, so you guys can watch the full video. If that, I just don't want to. I don't want to bore the crap out of you guys with this because I know some of you guys just really don't care, and that's okay. Like, that's completely fine. I know some of you guys are in the U.S. It just doesn't matter too much, and I'm not gonna force you guys to watch it. So you guys can go at your own leisure and watch that. I notice like I do that too often. I'll like be like, dude, like I don't think they need to watch this whole clip. So, but really going over that. She makes some great points. We've talked about Cynthia. We know she's an advocate. We know that older individuals, there are some that are on our side, and those who are on our side are relatively independent thinkers and are able to do things out of their own will. Let me make sure I got on the right path. But she's been super active on Twitter. I highly recommend you guys give follows to some of these individuals on Twitter because they she's helped a ton during this whole time. Giving tweets, giving updates, giving her views, and these are really the individuals that kind of give a bigger kick than some of us. I mean, it's great as it is that we speak out and we do what we need to do it as our single individuals, and we can of course we can make a big impact ourselves, but those upper guys, especially those government legislators of states and so on, they make a bigger hit when they really say something and stand up to the big house in terms of what's going on. So getting back behind these individuals, especially Cynthia and other state representatives and politicians, is not always a bad thing. We know politicians don't have a good rap, and it really seems that they're all terrible, but we can't paint everybody with the same brush, just like we have a lot of other issues that we paint people and situations with the same brush. It's very common that we do that, especially it's just a civilizational thing. But I think seeing everyone come together in terms of one solid outcome, which is cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, for how this is going to not benefit just the U.S., the entire world as a whole, is something that you just can't forget about at all. So if we go to Jake Chervinsky, another great one that we've covered the past couple of days, I gave him a follow up and really keeping up to date with his stuff. I really love all his tweets and all his work he does to really keep people in the loop. Gives more recommendations, 5 policies to support. Coin Center, Fight for FTR, EF, Fund_DeFi. Some really great individuals on here in the Twitter space that give us great knowledge and insight to what's going on. He's a lawyer and legal representative at Compound Finance. Gave some better insight on the infrastructure bill throughout the entire time for how we're going to keep moving through this. He tweeted out today, just this morning, actually 30 minutes before we went live. The Senate has voted 69-30 to pass the infrastructure bill with the original crypto tax revision. See below. The next bill will go to the House, which will recess until September 20th. We don't know yet if there will be a chance for amendments, if we're going to be able to make changes or not. This is definitely still on the fence. I'm not too worried in the sense of really anything. If anything, this kind of pushes kind of more bullish sentiment in my mind, and I know that doesn't really make any sense. The markets doesn't really seem to be correlated to this news either, which I thought was very, very odd. But at the same time, it's like it's hard to even fathom how that would shake the market to the core right now, given everything that we've been through. Coronavirus crash and other uncertainty of regulations of other countries, the swift adoption of smaller countries such as El Salvador, Panama, and legal tender implementations. There's just been so much that's been going on this past whole year since those pre March Black Tuesday levels of the market correction. And hopping into the pamphlet here. Not the pamphlet, guys, I'm sorry, the SEC white paper for what they actually did end up deciding on and what it really is, writing for writing, word for word. I'm going to put this in the Patreon and also in the description as well after the end of the stream when I get all the timestamps put together. But what that means for, if you're switching over to blockchain development as a job, or if you work in the space as a whole, what does that mean for your job? It means absolutely nothing. You will continue to do what you've been doing and continuing to learn and becoming proficient at your skills, and nothing has changed. My job has not changed. Nothing at work has changed. All we really do now is we now need to, I think personally from a developer standpoint, and anyone who's an innovator in the space, this is time to buckle down times 10 and continue to work on our current projects, continue to push education and push helpful education and ideas that can continue to prove what we have to offer here, and just become as concrete as we can. We already know that we're here to stay. We don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't think we haven't had to worry about that for a while. Anytime you get such hard regulation like this, I mean, that's a very good thumbs up to me to show that, hey, you guys get it enough that you want a fair share of this for your pockets. Okay, if that's something you would like to do, and sometimes there's some things we can't do to stop that. But if you're doing that and you're doing all these laws and loopholes and regulations, 1099s and so on, I mean, that means that and I know that this is something you don't want to play with. This is something that you understand is not going away, and something that you would like a piece of the pie of. So that just kind of gives us the backing of, hey, Bitcoin going to zero? Absolutely not. Blockchain going away? 100% not. So what do we do now? We continue to do what we've been doing, work as hard as we've been working, and just continue to thrive in this space and show individuals that the water is fine, and this is going to continue to disrupt the systems and fundamentals that it's meant to disrupt. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you're still working to get into the developer side or continue to cover over the space, I think now is the best time as ever. With things going the direction they are. So other than that, guys, that's really all I had for today. Let's make sure I didn't go too much over time. Yeah, about 25 minutes. So that's really what I wanted, guys. Thanks so much for chiming in today. I'll get those stamps and links all updated in the Patreon and in the video. Any questions, comments, concerns, I'm here. Ask me any questions. I always love talking to you guys. Share this with friends or family. Anyone who you think needs this or just really enjoys the information and just didn't catch this. But other than that, guys, you guys have a great week. I will see you guys on Thursday. Pay attention for I think we're on chapter 5 now for learning Solidity. I think chapter 5 or chapter 6. Yeah, watch out for that tutorial. And I'll get that updated as well, along with thinking about some other ideas right now of how I can, teach you guys better and just get better at this, this channel, educational wise and technical wise. So, alright, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Talk to you guys on Thursday. Bye bye.